like to ask a first question? Yeah?
What made you become a footballer?
What made you become a footballer?
I think really made me become a footballer. I started playing football quite late. I started playing when I was 13 or 14 years old. I was just always a sporty kid, and I loved playing sports. And one day, I used to be part of an athletics club, and one of the kids on my team, his father coached the local football team, and they invited me out to play. And I started playing, and I wasn't so good at the start, but I learned, and I kept on training, and I got better really quickly. And then just like bit by bit, I kind of like, I took steps and I started getting better, and I thought, I kind of enjoy this now. And I started to play a bit more, and then I got better, and then I thought, maybe I might make a career out of this. And then, I started to research and get more invested in football. I started to stay up late and watch Premier League games and stuff like that. And then I kind of found Ronaldo, and I fell in love with Ronaldo, and I wanted to be like Ronaldo. So then that was like another step, and then I kind of just went on this path and then arrived to a position where I thought I could really make a career out of this and I could be a professional, and then I just decided to go through with it. It wasn't, so I was like, grew up as a little boy and was like, I want to be a professional, I wanted to be a professional. I was kind of just going through life, and I found something that I enjoyed, and then I got better at it, and I started to enjoy it more, and then I just went from there.
I guess it's different from growing up in Australia, where it's not as big a sport. Here it's like the biggest thing, and loads of little boys want to grow up to be footballers. Whereas
exactly.
I guess where you were, it's not the first sport that's probably on most people's minds.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't really have anyone to look at, or like any reference points to say that you might have here, where I was like, I would like to be like that when I was older. In Australia, they play Aussie rules, AFL, which is like a big thing, and rugby and stuff like that. So I kind of just did a bit of everything. Professional sports isn't really, people who are professional sports players don't really have like the stardom and aren't really put on this pedestal that they are over here in England especially, and Europe in general.
Who has another question? Yeah?
What's the best and worst thing about being a professional footballer?
The best thing, the thing for me that I enjoy the most is probably like on a match day when you score a goal, and when you make so many people get happy, like when you score a goal. Like if I score a goal and I'm running to the corner flag and celebrating, everyone in the stands is jumping up and is happy, and your teammates are getting around you, and that kind of feeling and that dopamine that you get when that moment happens is probably one of the best feelings that you get. And then for the worst thing that in football is probably injuries, man. Like you want to be out there on the field and you can't, and being injured is not fun at all because you're kind of isolated from the team. Like all the boys are travelling up to play Sunderland away, and I'm in the gym by myself, and it's kind of a bit dark in that gym, and you're just listening to music and lifting weights and kind of separated from the boys, and you don't get to have that kind of changing room banter and then that social life and socialise with other people. That's probably the worst thing that's for me.
Who else has a question?
What made you move to Portsmouth FC?
Sorry?
What made you move to Portsmouth FC?
What made me move to Portsmouth FC? Portsmouth FC wasn't my first club of choice. I was meant to move over I always wanted to move over to Europe. Football's obviously a lot bigger in Europe than it is in Australia, and I had a few opportunities to move in the past, and one of them got cancelled because of injury. I was meant to move to play for a club in Hungary, and then I was meant to move to play for a team in Poland, and then I was also meant to play for another team in England as well, and those moves didn't end up happening. And then the summer that I ended up moving to Portsmouth, I knew that I definitely wanted to get overseas to Europe. I was starting to get a bit older now. And there was a French team that really wanted to sign me, and I was waiting for that to all kind of go through. But then Portsmouth were also interested, but the French team was my priority, and that kind of fell through. And then Portsmouth was there, and then there was another team that came in a bit later as well. And I sat down with our gaffer now, John Massinho, and they had a chat with me and explained what they wanted to do with me and how they saw me fitting into the club and the philosophy and how they wanted to get to the championship, and all those kind of things excited me a lot. And I flew over here and had some meetings with them, and everything sounded great. And I said, why not? it's a club that I didn't know too much about, but I knew about Portsmouth because they were a big club back in the days. And I came over here and I fell in love, and I was very excited to be here.
And didn't have to learn French.
Didn't have to learn French.
Bonus.
Yeah.
Or
speak
Hungarian
English,
or Polish.
Yeah.
How do you deal with haters as professionals?
Haters?
Yeah, like hearing abuse in the stands.
Well, it's one thing, like especially at Fareham Park, and that you don't really hear too much. It's especially when the game's on. It's so kind of loud in there, and like when you're on the field, you're kind of like, I don't know, when someone's like talking to you, but you're focused on something, and someone's calling your name, but you don't really hear them. It's kind of like that on the pitch. You hear like the people around you and what's going on the pitch, but in the stands, you don't really hear like people yelling things and stuff because everyone's kind of speaking at the same time. So you can't really, you might hear someone like yelling something, but you can't actually hear what they're saying. So in terms of that, you don't have to really deal with it too bad. It's pretty good. But social media is obviously a big thing now, and lots of people like can easily message you or send you some kind of abusive stuff on social media. But for me, I have my social media set up in a certain way that a lot of that noise doesn't really come in, and I don't really look through my comments and all this kind of stuff, whether things are going good or whether things are going bad. I try to just kind of stay out of it. Like when I post a photo, I just post it and move on. And yeah, I just kind of don't really pay attention to it too much. And like, there's a quote that I read somewhere that was like, why would you listen to like what's someone's saying, like abuse that someone's giving you, when it's coming from someone that like you wouldn't take advice from. And I kind of use that kind of motto, and like, if someone from the stands that doesn't really know too much about football is yelling something and they think I've done something wrong or whatnot, but I'm the one that's a professional footballer, and I'm the one that knows probably a lot more, and I've got people around me, my coach and stuff like that, and if I'm really doing something wrong and something's not right, I'm sure they're going to be the ones that are going to come and tell me, and they're the people I should be listening to because they're qualified and they're here to coach me and whatnot. So these people that are making noise from the outside, you just kind of try to block them out your best you can.
There's another question at the back there, yeah?
What is the best moment of your career so far? And have you ever been red carded?
Have I ever been red carded? Yeah, I was red carded for the first time this year when I was playing for Australia. It was at the start of the season. I kicked someone in the neck by accident. He got a straight red card. Yeah. So yes, I've been red carded. It was a terrible feeling. It happened in the second half, and we were 0-0 against a team called, it was against Bahrain, country called Bahrain, and we're doing qualifiers for the World Cup right now, so we're in a group, and if we finish top of that group we go to the next World Cup. So it was like, it's a really important match, and I got a straight red card. It actually went to VAR, so originally the referee wasn't giving me a red card, but it went to VAR and they gave me a straight red. And yeah, it was a terrible feeling. I just went and sat in the change rooms and no one was kind of in there. A security guard came in there to make sure I didn't like smash something up or whatever, and I just kind of sat there by myself for like the next 30 minutes until the rest of the team came in. And I don't know, I was just thinking about everything, and like I wish I never lifted my leg up and whatnot, and yeah, hopefully it doesn't happen again. But the start of your question was, what's the best moment? The best moment for me probably would have been, I played a game back in Australia, which was a derby. It's kind of like Portsmouth versus Sunderland kind of thing. And I scored a goal in that towards the end to win the game. And I went over I jumped over the advertising board a little bit, and like that side was like where all our fans were, and then all the fans came and jumped on me and stuff, and I almost suffocated, but like it was like an unbelievable moment. And my brother and my best friend were in the stands watching, and they were like recording all these videos like live in the moment. And then like after the game, when I was like sitting with them at home and seeing all those videos back and stuff, it just kind of made that moment so much more special that they were there and they witnessed it as well, and how excited they were in their faces after the game was probably the best moment.
Yeah.
What does your weekly football schedule consist of?
My weekly football schedule. When I'm injured or when I'm not injured, they're two different things. When you're not injured, it changes all the time because obviously the games we play midweek and stuff like that. And when we're in League One, our schedule is a bit more consistent because we'd normally play Saturday, Tuesday. But now sometimes we play Sunday or Friday or Wednesday, so the schedule chops and changes all the time. But most of the time, you're you have like 1 day off or 2 days off if you're really lucky a week. Some days you don't. Some weeks you won't have a day off. It just depends on how the games work. But we're in training ground. The latest you can be in is 9. If you come in after 9, you get a fine. So you're in for 9. We have a chef there who does breakfast. So you have breakfast from anywhere between 9 to 9:30. We normally have a meeting around 9:45 where we're in a kind of room like this with a big screen, and the coach goes through how we're going to play and formation and look at the opposition and watch video and talk about things and discuss. Then you do a little bit of physio work with the physios, maybe get some treatments and massage or whatnot. And then we go into the gym and we have like a pre-activation session, which is like when we get our muscles ready to get on the pitch so we don't get injured and things like that. So it's like lots of kind of jumping and stretching and a little bit of strength work. And then put your boots on, and we're normally on the pitch at 10:30. We train for about an hour and a half. Some days, depending when the next game is, we'll have gym after training. So we go in and we eat first. We have lunch, the chef cooks there, and then we have gym normally about 1:30 or 2. You do your gym session, and then after that, it's up to you really. You can just go head home, but a lot of boys stay rack and do a bit of extras, or go and do some recovery stuff, go in the sauna, or go move around in the pool to get the blood moving and whatnot, things like that. Get more massage, or just hang around and have a coffee and have a chat and stuff like that, and then head home and you have the afternoon to do what you want, and then come back in the next day. And that's what a normal day normally looks like. So yeah, the day after a game's a bit different. You do more so recovery stuff. You don't really train too much. Ice bath, things like that. But yeah, that's what a day in the life kind of looks like.
Do you have any like pre-match rituals or things that you'll do?
Not so much. I try not to, because the schedule's always changing, and like my environment's always changing. I'm in a different stadium, and sometimes I'm in a hotel for away games, so obviously I can't eat like the same food that I would at home. And sometimes I'm in Australia playing the national team, so if I got into like a kind of really strict kind of routine, and then my environment change would be a bit difficult. So I'm not a very superstitious person. I don't really have any pre-game rituals or anything like that.
Any other questions yet?
When moving clubs, do you consider distance from home when contracts are offered?
When moving clubs, did you say?
Yeah. Do you think about the distance?
Not really. Not so much at all. I think for me, growing up, I was kind of pretty keen to like move out of my hometown and move to a different environment and live in a new city. I love travel and stuff like that. Obviously, you miss your family and your friends a little bit, but as you get older, you kind of learn to deal with distance a bit better than you do as a kid. So no, when I haven't really moved so many times in my short kind of career, so I haven't really thought about that too much. But obviously, Australia to England is a big jump, and I wasn't really worried about the distance so much. So no.
Anybody else got a question they haven't asked yet?
Who's the best player at the club?
Who's the best player at the club?
Technically and quickly.
Technically and quickest.
Fastest, yeah.
The best technically at the club would be maybe we've got a new player that hasn't played much, Abdullahi Kamara. He came from Dortmund. He's probably one of the best technically. And quickest at the club would be maybe Josh Murphy. I think. Yeah.
Anybody else got any questions they haven't asked yet? Yeah?
Obviously, Southampton and Portsmouth have quite a big rivalry. Would you ever play for Southampton? And if we played next season, what will the score be, do you think, and will you score?
I wouldn't like to play for Southampton, no. If we played them next season, I think we'd probably win. They're not doing well at all at the moment.
That's the problem with coming this far west, is you will get the work Southampton fans in.
Yeah, and for sure, I hope I score. Are you a Southampton fan?
Yeah, I'm Southampton. What will be your celebration against us?
I don't know, man. Did you see what the Watford guy did to Portsmouth?
What, take the out?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that.
I'll take it.
I think we should move on from that question. Has anyone else got any questions that they haven't asked yet? Yeah?
How would you cope with not being involved in the starting 11?
How would I cope with not being involved in the starting 11? Are you a Portsmouth fan?
No.
You're not a Portsmouth fan? Okay. Well, last year when I came over, I wasn't in the starting 11 for quite a bit of time. Colby Bishop was here, another striker who's a very good player, and we had to compete for a position for a long period of time. And some moments it was difficult because it felt like no matter what I did, I wasn't going to be in the starting 11. So sometimes I would get a bit frustrated and lose a bit of concentration in training sessions and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, like, you have to just keep going for yourself. You have to try and improve every day because, most likely I won't be playing for Portsmouth for the rest of my career, and that I want to keep improving for a player and improving as a player. And if I put my head down and feel upset or feel like I don't want to try my best just because someone else is playing in the starting 11, then I'm not going to progress as a player. And if I'm not progressing as a player, there's no chance that I'm going to go into the starting 11. So I think every day you have to just, if you don't want to work for the coach or for the team, you have to make sure that you're working for yourself at the bare minimum. That's a situation that I've dealt with many times. And you kind of just look at the other person who's playing and compare yourself to them and have a look at what they do better than you and why you think the coach is playing them instead of you, and then you try and improve those weaknesses, and then you improve, and you get yourself to a position where then you can say to the coach and ask the coach, if he hasn't already put you in the starting 11, I do this just as good as he does or even better than he does, so I think I deserve my shot. And if you got a coach who has a bit of integrity about him, then I'm sure he'll give you that opportunity. So that's how I deal with it personally, and yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Any other questions? Yeah, one more.
What does your injury rehab consist of?
My injury rehab, I was in a knee brace yesterday. I don't have it on today, but I wasn't able to bend my knee more than 45 or 90 degrees. So my knee was kind of locked in a position, and I've got a torn ligament in my knee. So the brace was like a weird kind of mechanical brace that pushed my calf muscle forward to push my shin bone forward so it would heal in the right place. So I was kind of limited a lot with my movement and whatnot. But the specialist said that anything I can do in the brace pretty much I can do. So I was able to do a lot of gym exercises and stuff like that. That's what I've been doing for the last kind of 6-7 weeks, is kind of just trying to stay on top of my strength in my hamstrings, in my quads, and obviously when you don't use a muscle for a long period of time, it gets smaller, it shrinks. So the main goal was to try keep as much muscle bulk in my left quad as possible. So that was probably our goal, and which I did quite well. So I was just, in the gym, sometimes doing a little bit of upper body gym, not so much upper body gym because I'm a footballer and I use my lower body more than I use my upper body. And if you get real top heavy, it's hard to run around on the pitch and whatnot. So yeah, I was in the gym. I couldn't really do much at all. I wasn't able to run. I couldn't swim because I had to wear the brace 24/7. I was on the assault bike quite a lot, but arms only. A ski erg, if you know what that is, it's like like that. And squatting, RDLs, kind of lots of different kind of gym exercises. Walking on a treadmill, I was allowed to walk. So they would get me to walk on the treadmill on an incline for 20 minutes with blood flow pants on, so like some compression pants. And they have like a band that you pull, it's got Velcro and you tighten it underneath, so it's like stops the circulation of blood, so that you can build up like a real kind of, you get like a real good pump into your legs, and you're able to like put a lot more load or work through your muscles without lifting such heavy weights. So yeah, a lot of that kind of work.
Any other questions? Yeah, a couple more. Go on.
Right. This is throughout your whole career, like even youth football, everything.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about quitting or leaving the club? And if you have, how have you pushed through it and not done that?
Quitting or leaving a club? Not so much quitting or leaving, because football's a bit different. You have I signed contracts, yeah, so I'm contracted to a club, so I couldn't, if I'm not enjoying it, just get up and say, I don't want to be here anymore and just go home. I have to stay there for the length of my contract. So yeah, there's been moments where I haven't been enjoying football as much as I have, and I think when you look back at it, I used to enjoy football when I was younger, when I was a junior or whatnot. a lot more than I do now, because when you become a professional, everything becomes a lot more serious, and it's more so of a job than rather enjoyment. So there is definitely times where things aren't going your way, and I feel like I'm not enjoying my football as much as I used to. But so far, I've never quit or never left a club, and I'm a person that doesn't like quitting or like giving up easily. So anytime I feel myself in a kind of slump, I don't know, I draw back to I have a little note on my phone that anytime I see like an inspirational quote or something that I read or I listen to, and I think, oh, that made me feel like powerful, or made me feel confident, or made me feel motivated to do more. I have like a list of kind of notes and these kind of sayings and stuff in my notes, and sometimes I draw back on those. I go in there and I have a read of those things, and they kind of uplift my spirit and make me feel a bit more energized and motivated to go, and they remind me of why I'm doing it, and remind me of my goals, and those things give me a sense of purpose and a sense of hunger to keep going and to push through those tough times.
Yeah, I think we just have one more question at the back, and then we'll...
What's your favourite thing about playing for Pompey?
My favourite thing about playing for Pompey is I think probably maybe like the fans at away games. Obviously Fratton Park is really special, but I've never played at a club really where we go to away games and we have such good travelling fans, and like sometimes we play away games and our fans are louder than their fans, so it feels like a home game, A lot of, well, at least my experience in Australia was like fans are always there to support you at the home games, but on the away games they can't be bothered travelling and they can't be bothered spending their money to go watch the football or whatnot. Where here at Pompey, we play Sunderland away and everyone gets on a train or bus or whatever and heads all the way up. So that's probably my favourite thing about playing for Portsmouth, is like the fans and how passionate they are, even like just around the city, and then they're all very respectful. It's not a situation where people are like nagging me or interrupting me when I'm having conversations or whatnot. Everyone's really polite when they want to ask for a photo or they want to say hello, and that's something that's really special. I guess maybe the higher you go up in football, you kind of lose that a bit. So I think Portsmouth's a really great club, and because of the fans.